Hey listeners, Editor Yada here. Just wanted to pop in and say real quick for clarity, this episode was recorded a good few months ago now, but our editor is very slow and bad at editing. Me, I'm sorry, this is completely my fault. So if you hear some stuff that makes you think, why are they talking about that thing as if it hasn't already happened? Didn't that happen like ages ago? Mind your damn business. Maybe it did, but I have been slow. I'm sorry. I apologize and I hope you enjoy anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Immersive Idiots Podcast. Today I am joined, as always, by the lovely.
Me, Oily.
And me, Yada. Hello. Today we decided we wanted to do a little, introduction podcast episode because for our friends who are listening, hello, we love you. You guys,
Mwah, mwah.
already know who we are, but for the people who don't know who we are, I think this would be a really good way for us to start out the channel with a bang. So,
Yeah, we sit down to dinner, you get to find out some stuff about us, we get to find out some stuff about you.
Yeah, this is the date episode. We're going on a date with you all.
we share a bottle of wine, it's candlelit, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And
we can have a cheeky little kiss at the end.
So, if this is your first episode, I feel like this is a great place to start.
Yeah.
As opposed to one of our other random episodes of us talking nonsense about UK LARPs that we've been to.
Exactly.
A fair warning, we may say some naughty words during this podcast.
As always.
But hopefully this time we're hoping to keep it nice and light and cheery and fun, because we're just telling you who we are.
Yes, we have a few little introduction questions that we've, written out, and at the end we also have some that our listeners have suggested to us, which is very fun and very exciting. So, Willie, would you like to start with our first question?
I would. So, to start with, Yada, please could you tell me and the listeners just a little bit about who Yada is? Name, pronouns, maybe what you actually do outside of LARP.
So, hello, my name is Yada. Yada or Yada, either way, I don't really mind. My pronouns are they, them. Things I do outside of LARP, well, I'll be honest, it's kind of consumed my life a lot, which I do believe a lot of LARPers will say the same, of just like, yeah, man, LARP's kind of just taken over everything I do and say, and it is horrible. No. I cosplay, I play games, I do art, I do a lot of digital art. I'm also an actor, kind of. I used to do scare acting, and sometimes I do some extras background work at the moment, but yeah, big theatre kid vibes, which could be a terrible thing for some people who hate theatre, but I understand we are rather annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of like the main stuff about me. Oily, how about you?
Hello, howdy. I am Oily. Yeah, that's a statement.
I am covered in oily.
Yes, my name is Oily. My pronouns are he, they. And what do I do outside of LARP? I just prepare for LARP. I also do dabble in a little bit of cosplay. Although as time goes on, less cosplay, more LARP.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth? And other than that, just I'm your standard guy, just watch some films, play some video games, make stuff. Making stuff is a big part of my life. Mainly costumes. Again, mainly costumes for LARP. So LARP is the umbrella hobby I have, and then individually there's other hobbies that come under the LARP umbrella. And that's me. So, Yada.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started in this crazy secret fancy world of live action roleplay?
So pretty much, I think it was 2019 I started. and I kind of started. I stumbled across, like a lot of people who come to this hobby. I stumbled across some like content creators like Momo O'Brien, Azrai, stuff like that, and I was like really super interested in this sort of stuff because I'd always been interested in like text-based role playing and stuff like that. I'd been doing text-based role playing since I was like 12 or something, and so something like this really was like, oh, this is absolutely my style. This is absolutely something I would dive into immediately. So, it was just before summer in 2019, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go LARP. So I found a local place. None of my friends wanted to go with me, so I was like, well, I will go by myself. So I went to my first LARP in the summer of 2019. What a great time. What a perfect timing to start getting into a hobby where lots of people are in the same space at one time. And nothing at all will happen in the next year.
What? what LARP was the original LARP?
So it was Arcadia, and that was in Devon. I don't think they run anymore, but it was a really good. I think it was a really good kind of like small, nice, easy thing to kind of like ease myself into, and a lot of the people there were like really, really lovely. I was very nervous, despite being a very big actor, theatre kid kind of thing. But it was overall super fun. They looked after me really, really well, and yeah, it was just really, really lovely. Oily, how about you? What got you to start laughing, and what was your first LARP?
Crazy. I also started LARP in 2019.
What?
Yeah, it was a big year for starting LARP. Apparently, I feel like everyone could feel the energy that was coming.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was maybe, it might have been I think it was Tabletop Weekly. Their YouTube videos, maybe I'd heard a bit of LARP, but I think that was when I started to hear stuff, and then I just went onto YouTube and typed in LARP and find out what happened. But so eventually I joined lots of groups on Facebook, but I didn't quite know how to get into this thing called LARP, and I thought it looked really good because being into cosplay massively. The thing I love about cosplay is making costumes, and then the wearing them was very much just I describe it to people as in terms of painting, I like doing the painting, I like making the costume. The putting it in the gallery at the end, my gallery is going to an event and wearing the costume. That's just the final piece. Also, it does help because I have awful ADHD, and I need a very solid deadline to complete costumes by.
Yeah.
So I was really looking for somewhere else I could wear costume and make costume for, especially stuff that was my own design, as opposed to religiously copying something like you might do with cosplay. And I heard about this thing called LARP, and I was like, wow, this sounds really good. And I got really into a lot of the post-apocalyptic side of it. So the first one I actually went to was one called Blind Dogs, which only ran once, and I crewed it because I heard crewing was a great way to start LARPing, which I fully stand by. I think that it is true. It ran once. I had, it was a first time running event. To be honest, looking back, I think it was pretty good for a first time event. But it only ran once, so but I crewed it, and I thought, wow, that was actually pretty fun. I think I might go and do that again. And then, unfortunately, 2019, I was very busy where I was work-wise, and so I couldn't quite manage to make it to Empire at that point. And me and Yara, we had a mutual friend who already did Empire. Did they already do Empire? I think they already did.
Yeah, they did.
And so I kind of had that. Basically, they were just like, Empire's a good game. You should maybe go and try Empire. And I was like, okay. I couldn't make it work 2019. I went, do you know what? 2020. I started a new job. I had weekends off. I had disposable income. And I went, 2020's my year to start LARPing. Much like several other people I've heard. And do you know what happened? The darndest thing happened.
The darndest thing happened.
So I had a good solid 2 years, I think, to make kit for my first Empire.
Yeah.
Which was the first LARP that I played. And that was in... So April 2022 was when I started LARPing, and then by the end of that year, I think I kind of heard about iLARP and a bunch of other really awesome systems, and I think by the end of 2022 I went to Nightmare, and then that's really when I feel like I fell down the rabbit hole of like doing a lot of LARP.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And then every year since then, I've just done more and more LARP.
The calendar gets bigger every single year, I feel.
Yeah,
I
think I don't know what your obviously we have different priorities in life, but I don't know what you're up to, Yada, but I think I might have just agreed to my 22nd LARP of the year.
What?
Not already.
Okay.
I haven't done 22 LARPs in 2 months, but as in the total amount of LARP for this year, I think I'm doing 22 events.
Damn! I don't think I've even counted yet. I think this year I was like, I'm gonna like cut down a little bit.
Which I'm not saying, if you're new to LARP, or, you know, maybe even you're an existing LARPer, this isn't a great way to live. Don't do it. pick LARPs you like and do them really well. Don't spend literally every weekend at a LARP. It's not that great. I mean, it's pretty great.
It's not that great.
It's not that great, but clearly it is because I do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good, and it gives socialization and stuff.
We're coming back to the whole ADHD autism thing for me. Of I just have lots of things that I like, and then when people offer you a LARP to do them at, you go, yes, I would like to do that very hyper specific LARP.
Yeah.
But I think what a wonderful hobby. What a truly wonderful hobby. Some of my closest friends, the people I call my closest friends, they're LARPers.
Yeah, same.
You know, always come back from a LARP feeling so refreshed, like, not physically, mentally.
No, not physically.
You know,
emotionally, mentally, you know, a little bit more refreshed than it is physically.
Yeah, so, you know, I do recommend it to lots of people. So.
Same. I'm always fucking recommending.
Oh man, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish more systems had referral, like,
links,
because I could probably afford to LARP for free if I was able to do that.
Yeah, I'm the like, oh, you want to know about LARP? You ask Yada, because they will yap about it at you for hours. And that's why we have a podcast.
Yes. It's the unlocking the Pandora's box and it just flies open.
Yeah, it's that meme of the tornado and it's like, Here we go, here it comes.
I've been at parties, and people went, oh, Oily, so-and-so is looking to get into LARP. You do LARP. And I'm like, look, what are you doing for the next, like, 2.5 hours? Because this is a big conversation. Like, don't take this lightly.
It's exactly how it goes with me as well. Like, I'll have friends who I haven't talked to in years, and they're like, oh my god, what are you getting up to? And then I'm like, yeah, I do this, and that, and I laugh, and they're like, oh my god, I've always heard about it, and I've always wanted to try it, tell me about it, and I'm like, okay, and it's like the 5th time I've said the exact same things in, like, the day.
Yeah, and I do have to be careful now as well. I'm just going to give them a really broad overview of LARP, because if I start talking about really specific stuff in certain LARPs, then they're going to get so lost they're going to be like, oh, this feels like a big thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about, like, it's like, let me start telling you about how we had to talk to our friend that had died in order to solve a murder mystery. Like, you're just like, this feels way too specific.
Yeah. They're like, what's the Senate? Sorry?
Yeah, and it's...
What's this about a tent?
Although I've definitely heard from people that I introduced to LARP, that before I introduced them to LARP, and they'd heard a story from LARP, and they went, at that point, I didn't know what you were talking about, but they said, now having been to LARP, I understand what you meant.
Yeah.
So... That's great, yeah, and now we just yap on a podcast about it, and it's brilliant.
Exactly,
I love this.
Exactly, and now you guys are all forced to listen to it.
Unfortunately, the listener here is in control. They chose to be here.
I have them shackled.
Yeah, it sounds like blindfolded with the headphones just strapped to their head. It's like, give me a 5-star review on Apple Podcast.
Right. Should we
we
move
should
on to our
probably,
next question? Yeah.
we probably should.
Oily. What
Yes,
was
you had
your
a.
first character like?
What was my first character? So, I did have an NPC at Blind Dogs. That was an R&R NPC, but that was very much, I think, Oily in costume, right? Because I hadn't quite grasped the character bit yet. So my first character is the character I, touch wood, still play at Empire, called Murdoch. Murdoch has changed a lot since I started playing him, as people tend to do. I think I went in very naive because that felt like it made sense for Oily. Because if I go in as a character that doesn't know anything, then when Oily doesn't know anything, then you're like, oh yeah, well, I mean, this person's never been here before. Which I think is a very common thing to do. It's not a bad thing, it's just a very common thing. And yeah, he was, to be honest, I'm quite proud. He was, I mean, he's still alive. He's quite a go-getter.
Let's hope he still is by the time this episode comes out. Otherwise,
well, it depends. So, but you know, and for my first event, I think I set up some weird murder mystery plot as well. Like some, I went in as a courier, and I managed to basically via Facebook get someone in every nation to give me a letter to deliver in that nation.
Damn.
Which was a great shout. This is so unlike what Oily was like in 2022. I feel like I've become much more confident since I started LARPing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And this is so out of character for me. I don't know why I did this, but it was a really great way to see the whole of the Empire, well, the whole of Anvil, at my first event, and talk to loads of people, and yeah, so Murdoch was a real go-getter. Probably a little bit dreamy. Murdoch has changed a lot. I mean, he has had a lot of death in his life and stuff like that. So, and also I think I've slowly kind of morphed him more as we've gone on into something I want to play. But again, more great advice I was given, which was take yourself and turn a couple of the dials up, or turn some of the dials down. So I think people just say Murdoch is just Oily with the horny meter dialed up to 20, and I'm like, that is true, but but it's I decided that he was just going to be very, very quick to anger and not very forgiving, which is the opposite of what Oily is.
Yeah.
So he was just such a little guy, such a naive little guy.
Aww.
Now it's
he's terribly traumatized.
He's terribly traumatized. Yada. Speaking of trauma, please tell us, what was your first character?
Hey, look. My first character was, I think I had the same kind of issue where, because I, had that experience in text-based role-playing, I had quite a solid idea of what I wanted my character to be going in, but as soon as I went into it, I just was completely I just froze up. I was so anxious. I didn't get to play my character how I wanted to. Her name was Ilya, and I had only played her for the first event that I'd ever gone to. But I do, I have a lot of kind of I think about it, and it was a very good character concept. I enjoyed the character concept, but I struggled to really sink my teeth in because I felt so anxious about it. I turned 18 a few months before, and I was so nervous. Back then I was really bad at social interaction. I'm not shy, but I really hated kind of talking to people and making friends and stuff. I found it really hard to. And so I just got really in my head about it. But Ilya was supposed to be kind of this healer who had kind of a little bit of a kind of interest in anatomy and research and kind of demonology, and was a very gentle and caring healer whilst also having that kind of little bit of a dark side to her. wow, yeah. Yada has a character that has a dark side. Wow. Oh, fucking surprising. But I will say, I think that I managed to get my second character, Flynn, which was literally just a few months later. It was so much easier for me to get into character because I kind of just like stopped being as anxious. I was like, okay, I know what this is like now. I know what this is like. I am, I just gotta take it a little bit easy. It's not that serious. And so I was able to play Flynn really, really easily. And yeah, I think Flynn was a lot more significant in my, similarly to what you said about your NPC and versus Murdoch. I think Flynn was a lot easier for me to play because I kind of got the hang of it a little more. She was literally it was at a kind of superhero LARP called Omnia Mutantor, and it was very fun. Essentially it was like an X-Men kind of LARP, which was really fun, like comic book inspired. And I played a little kind of uh little girl called Flynn who could speak to dead people, had a third eye, and she was part of like the youngest class. And she was just like really kind to people, and her whole thing was just like being really nice, being really kind, trying to help as much as possible. And I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I made some friends that I keep very, very dearly to my heart. And, it was just really fun. And I think that event really was like, oh, I am so into LARP. I need to do more of this immediately. And then the pandemic hit, so.
Yeah, I definitely. Do you still have the kit for that character?
Because I do have most of the kit, I think, because it wasn't like because it was like a modern day kind of one. I just kind of used my clothes that I thought, hey,
Yeah.
Flynn would wear this. And so I do have a lot of her kit still, yeah.
Because that's something I find very in like I still have my NPC R&R characters
Mm.
kit
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I took the whole costume with me because I built the whole costume. It wasn't crew kit; it was my kit.
Damn.
Um, yeah, I just went again. I just loved it as an excuse to make some post-apocalyptic kit.
Yeah.
But maybe we might be able to in the notes put a picture of our kits. Maybe.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Um,
That'd be great. That'd be great. I'll do that.
yes, we will do that. But it's kind of I'm now at the point where I'm like I've got it, but I played it as a character once. So I'm like I need to go to another like LARP that I can maybe use it at because I feel like it's not.
Yeah.
It's all right if you played it as an Empire character for like 3 years and you did like 12 events in a kit. You know,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
you feel
yeah.
like you've used it enough then. But it's like one event, you're like, oh. Or sometimes I find that I've had a really good character concept, like me and Yada have just gotten back from ILARP's Lawless, which was a one
Yeah.
shot, and we both loved our characters from that. But it was a one shot, so
Yeah.
I think there's definitely wait for that episode to come out. That is a spicy episode.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
that's gonna be a
So
spicy
good.
episode. But we both put together really cool kits for that. That I think we're going to want to bring those characters back at some point
Yeah.
because they were really fun to play and we liked our interactions. So, but yes, that was what our first characters were like.
Okay, the next question. Oily. What's your favourite aspect of LARP? And what are you most passionate about?
So, as alluded to in the intro, definitely the costuming side. There's, I just love the excuse to make a Pinterest board, maybe do
Yes.
a little doodle or a sketch, and just make a costume or a theme. Like and sometimes it's quite a strict theme, but other times it's very open. So I really like that. I don't find that I'm as good as at building the characters. A lot of the time, I find that I have to get to the event with a skeleton of a character, and then as I start to play, the character kind of tells me. This sounds really wanky. The character kind of tells me who they are. you
We're
know,
LARPers, we're a little bit wanky, it's fine.
yeah. We're all
Makes
a little
complete
cringe
sense, though.
here, okay?
Yeah.
But so, but a good framework for me is the costume. Having a costume that I feel cool in, is one of my favorite bits. I love making a really cool costume and like, putting it all on and standing in front of the mirror and being like, I look cool. Like,
Yeah.
everything, the way I've gone in life is I've decided if 8-year-old me would think I was cool, then I'm doing something right.
That's
So I'm
so
like,
sweet. I love that.
me wearing like full plate armor, or me putting together a really cool like sci-fi cyberpunk look, or whatever it might be. If 8-year-old me goes, wow, that's a really cool thing, then I'd be like, yeah, I've made it. So
Yeah.
so
Aww.
so weirdly, like, costume is really actually my favorite bit of LARP. I think second, the second to that is, and what I feel passionate about, is the disconnecting from modern life about LARP,
Yeah.
which started off as an accident, and now I think it is a key pillar of the LARP experience for me.
Yeah.
Is I go away for the weekend, and I'm outdoors, I'm being physical, I'm being active, and I'm being social as well. And I think all of those are really great things for life in general. And I think a really cool bit is that I'll go to LARP, and on Friday I will get into my kit, I'll put my phone in my bag, and I'll just turn it off. And I will not look at my phone until Sunday afternoon when I turn it back on to drive home.
Yeah.
And I don't even ever want to look at it at LARP. And I just think having, without getting too much into like personal philosophy or anything, I just think having that very, just switching off from the internet, from modern life for a bit.
Touching some grass.
Touching some grass. So nice.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, that mixed in with, I can be perfectly happy at a LARP if my buddies are there and we can crack open a drink together and just sit around and enjoy the vibes.
Yeah.
Again, coming back to, just because it just happened, Lawless, there was a lovely moment we had in town. Just nothing was going on. It was so good. And nothing was happening. We were just sat in the street, and I think there was a gramophone. No, it wasn't gramophone. It was our good friend Orion was just playing a little bit of guitar.
Yeah.
And I think we just had a drink or something each, and we just were sat there, and we really just, it could just close, and there was it was sunny, but there was a breeze blowing through town, and it was just like, I just closed my eyes for a bit and just enjoyed the music, and I was like,
yeah, and everyone was just, everyone was just kind of listening, and because I was playing my uke at the same time as well.
Yes.
And it was just like so nice to have that moment of like, wow, we're just chilling. Nothing was happening. No one was stressed.
Again, it was like so wanky, but I was like, oh, my soul felt so peaceful. Like nothing could ruin that moment, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
We were just sat there enjoying some music with friends, and like, didn't have to worry about anything that was going on. It was amazing. I feel like you can't manufacture those moments.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
But when they happen, and they do happen, I think a lot. They're so perfect, and I love living for those moments where you go, where you just get to the end, you go, that was nice, wasn't it? And everyone goes, yeah, that was really nice.
And like, it's such like, it's almost like the mundanity within the kind of like fantastical of LARP, right? And it's being able to enjoy that kind of like, it's so mundane, and it's so kind of like nothing really like big, or it's just like nice. It's amazing. Just nice to have niceness.
the thing that like you're craving at LARP isn't like, you're like, I want to slay a dragon. You're just like, well, I'd really like to just sit in a hammock and just swing in the breeze for an hour or so.
Yeah.
One of the jokes I say is that if I manage to have a nap in character, then I've won LARP. I've managed to do it twice so far.
Oh wow.
One time was in the back of the bar at one of the cowboy LARPs, and I just like a real like cowboy film. I just like crossed my legs, crossed my arms, propped myself up in the corner, pulled the hat down over my eyes, and just had a little nap for like 45 minutes. And then someone came and woke me up after that, and they were like, "Oh, you were having like a proper nap?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was great. Like that was such a good nap."
Oh man, yeah. I would have to agree that that is also like something that I love so much about LARP is being able to just like sit around with friends, sit around a fire, just having a chat, just chilling out, having fun, just like. Yeah, like at the beginning of LARPs and stuff, sometimes you're like, you start LARPing and you're like, I really want to go on these cool, sick adventures. And then you come to realize how special it is as well to just have the nice downtime with friends.
That's like maturing in LARP. It's like, I think it's really cool though that you get to have those cool moments of you have a really intense like sword fight, or you have some really intense like healing role play or something. But then it's like it's the what happens in between, and I think you do need those times at LARP. To just like you said, sit around the campfire with the people who survived and went, that was crazy, wasn't it? And they're like, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's really cool because if you really think about it, it's like it really humanizes like the characters as well. Like it humanizes and it lets you have those moments of like I don't know, like a weird connection of like downtime, having some chill times. That's all right because I think not to get too deep, but a lot of times with hustle culture and stuff, we don't really get as much time to just sit down and chill out and allow
100%.
ourselves to have that kind of moment of like reflection and relaxation without feeling the guilt of not doing anything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I think even when I started LARPing, that kind of mindset was even in the back of my head of being like, you've got to make use of, you're paying to be here, you've got to make use of every single minute. And actually now it's much more like just whatever you feel like doing. Like, if you're really up for a fight, go and do the fight. But it's like, if you're having a nice time enjoying some tea, just stay enjoying some tea. Like, don't be like, oh, I need to go and do this because it's the thing I'm paying for,
Yeah, if it is something that makes you happy and it's something that you've done that like lets you enjoy yourself, then it's not a waste of time, a waste of money or anything, It's like it doesn't have to be you're constantly doing things. That's completely fine, Like no one should tell you how you should spend your time at a LARP,
Oh no, you should play the game that you want to play. I know some people that get such a kick out of spending an entire LARP weekend sat at an in-character cafe reading the newspaper and people watching.
Oof.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like,
nice little...
And when you talk to those people, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm like a 999 dispatcher or something." So like, what they're there to do is they're like, "I just want peace in my life, like for a weekend." And you're like, "Yeah, I get that,"
Yes.
Do you think is there anything we didn't cover in that little chat that was your favourite aspect of LARP or something you're passionate about?
I think for me, I really do enjoy as well the kind of like I do enjoy having to like getting that opportunity to kind of like explore characters because I'm sure a lot of people who know me already know that I like to play a lot of characters who are very very strong in how like I have a very clear view of how I want my character to be and what they do and how they are as people. I really enjoy exploring that kind of like alternative kind of I guess life for a bit because I really do think it kind of like lets you it lets you explore emotions and situations that you may not have experienced in life and kind of as well it lets you really kind of like realize things about yourself and realize things about how you walk the world and how you explore the world and how that can be different for these characters or it gives you kind of like I don't know just some like I don't know it sounds a bit flouncy and wanky like you said but it gives you some perspective of kind of like of how different people are, I guess, in a really weird way. Like, yeah, I just really enjoy kind of like being able to explore the characters, because I like to think that I'm not like a cunt in real life. But sometimes it's nice to kind of be able to like explore and be someone you're not for a bit, and just kind of like forget about yourself for a bit and just be like, I'm this character. I'm a little guy, and I'm a little guy having fun with my friends who are also other little guys.
Oh man, little guy laugh is the best.
Little guy laugh is the best.
Shout out all the little guys out there. You know who
Shout
you
out.
are.
Yeah, you know who you are.
You're the real ones.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've got some easy ones now. Those were quite philosophical. I feel like these are easy ones. Yada, what's been your favourite outfit that you've done for a character?
Hands down, 100% Danica. Because
Yes.
I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into that whole outfit. Look, I said, I'm going to attend Empire as my very first Empire character, and I'm going to serve cunt every single event.
Oh man,
do not...
our Slay Queen, Danica. I love Danica's outfit. Gives me inspiration in terms of like bringing a level like
Thank
to
you.
life. There's
Yeah,
so many little bits on Danica's that I love.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like, because obviously I also cosplay, I also design characters, I draw and stuff like that. I have many OCs, and like it is that kind of sense of like I love being able to design a character, and I love being able to add those little details and to just be like, okay, this is, and having the kind of like unique design that someone can see from far away and be like, oh my god, that's Danica, and you're like, yeah, it is. Like, it makes you recognizable, it makes you feel good, and yeah, I love Danica's design. I put a lot of effort into making her as cunty as she is.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe with Danica, and also being able to like I always say good character design is if it's dark and the person has like a bright light behind them, like their silhouette, can you tell who they are?
Yeah.
100% with Danica.
Yeah.
You could look at Danica and be like, that's Danica. And they're walking this way and they're angry about something.
Yeah, and oh god, I think I should run. Run. I think that's like literally like what they teach you at like concept design, like concept art classes, is like making a good character design, you've got to have a good silhouette. Good recognizable silhouette. How about you, Oily?
The one that comes to mind, Blackjack.
Oh, so good.
Blackjack. So again, this works really well in an audio only format. But Blackjack was a preacher who was horribly burned. It was based, I can't lie, a lot of Joshua Graham from Fallout New Vegas. So he was dressed head to toe in bandages. Had kind of like a black, very high-necked waistcoat, and then like really fun, like a black poncho. I had a Bible pouch on my belt. I had a big, like stake in the shape of a cross that I also made another holster for. And then to crown it all off, I had a really wide-brimmed preacher hat that I made with it was like a vintage, like black curtain lace around the outside, which when I pulled it down, like basically obscured a lot of my eyes.
It was so good.
And man, he was it was such a nightmare to wear that costume.
Oh yeah.
And to get all those bandages on and off. But
I remember when you sewed it to like your hair or something when you were making it.
Yeah, well, I thought, oh, Oily, you could be clever here. What you could do is, if you stitch the bandages to a balaclava, then you can just, put it on and off like a balaclava. I don't think I quite thought it through enough, though, because I put the balaclava on, wrapped my head in bandages, and then I sat there whilst I was home alone, and I stitched very carefully, because I was like, I don't want to poke myself in the head. I stitched very carefully the bandages to the balaclava. Great, fine. Everything had gone just fine. And then I tried to take it off. And what I'd done was, because you stretch bandage as you wrap it around your head, and so the bandages that went around my neck was stretched already so when I tried to take it off, there was no stretch left. So I was trapped inside a balaclava with bandages sewn on it. And I have very minor claustrophobia. It's not like being in tight places. It's more not being able to get out of a tight place. And that really triggered it for me, was being stuck inside this like balaclava and being like, I have to go and pick up my fiance very shortly. And I was like, am I going to get out of this in time? Now, fortunately, listener, I was able to like kind of just tear it and rip it and take it off my head. But I was like, what a stupid idea. Like, you know, when you just do something, you're like, that was stupid, wasn't it? Why did I even do that?
I still remember you putting it into the chat and being like, help.
Yes.
Help me.
Yeah, I'd say I like Blackjack's look. That's probably that's the first one that pops to mind. I think that one.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And oh my god, you have some amazing pictures of it. Like,
really fitted the Western horror aesthetic. I really like a character that's a bit of the setting. Like, as in he looks a bit weird and creepy, and it's a weird and creepy setting. Like, I like that. Like, he's like the monsters that are our friends kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And it did go down really well, apart from people saw me on Friday before the game, and then they saw me Sunday, and they went, oh, I didn't see you all weekend. And I went, yeah, you did. We had a conversation. And they went, no, we didn't. And I went, I was the guy in the bandages. And they're like, that was you? And it's like, it's crazy to interact with people that you know, and they're very much giving you the polite stranger kind of tone.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, guys, it's me.
It's me, guys, please.
So yeah, but you know, let's see how Menhirs turns out, because I think Menhirs feels like the first costume that I've really made from scratch and like put really big thought into designing it, because normally it's I get an idea of vibes and then I kind of try and pick pieces that are in that vibe, and then I bring them all together, and then maybe I'll make some bits. But Menhirs, it really feels like I've been doing it from the ground up for the first time.
Yeah.
Yada.
Yes.
What is, if money no object, but feasibly could run, what is, and also someone else will run it for you, your dream LARP?
Ooh, oh my god. Man. Oh, this one has a lot more thought than I was expecting. I mean, I think it'd be really cool to do kind of like, I do enjoy high fantasy LARPs. I think there's just so many of them that it makes me kind of like, well, I want to try something other than that. So I've always been very, very drawn to kind of like either modern day LARPs or like futuristic ones, cyberpunky kind of like, maybe even like a fusion of like fantasy and cyberpunk. That kind of thing, or I'll be honest, just like a really sick Vampire the Masquerade LARP. Like,
there it is!
General like World of Darkness LARP, I think. Not just vampire. I think it'd be cool to do some like mage and werewolf and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool.
What I'm hearing is you want to play Twilight the LARP.
How dare you? How dare you? No. Okay, what about you, wise guy? Huh? What do you want to do?
See, it's easy to throw out these questions. It's much harder to answer them.
Exactly.
I just had it. What was it? Me and my good friend Ambrose Joe have talked about doing a Dad's Army LARP.
Oh my god.
We think that would be really fun, as it being an incompetent home guard unit, and then all of the kind of stuff you're doing during the day is like Mrs. Miggins' cat's gotten stuck in the tree. Can you go and get it out, please? You know, and it's like, oh, the village fate is going to be ruined if you don't go and do this. And then it's like, but then like we were like, maybe when sundown hits, there's like we're actually invaded by paratroopers or something, and we actually have to do our job. As it's kind of like that balance of like really silly and then really serious. Haven't quite fleshed it out yet, so give me like maybe 10 more years and I'll fleshed it out. Um, yeah, other than that, the one that I always say is I really want to play a really good, gritty, medieval zombie thing.
Ooh.
Like, as in, I want people in plate armor and then just have a bunch of zombies and have the people in plate armor be quite resistant to zombies. Not, not invincible.
Yeah.
But like in a, as in like in a, they're not going to get through you immediately, but if there's 20 of them crowding you, they're going to find the hole in your armor eventually.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
As well as then, you'd have to like balance being like, do I want to wear full plate armor, but I'm going to be really noisy and I'm going to attract all the zombies?
Yeah.
Or do I want to, wear like some much more lighter stuff and be quieter? But if they get me, I'm going to be So I think that really cool, especially I think if you did it as a like an open site, like maybe you had a town that was safe most of the time, but it was like you had to frequently leave the town. We've also talked about doing like manhunt. I realise I've been very greedy with my choices here. This is the third one, I think. But we've talked about doing like a manhunt LARP where it's like you have to there's points. And you have to go like point to point, and in the middle is just whatever's chasing you. I think there was a game called Sir, You're Being Hunted. Did you ever see this, Yada? It was like,
what is it?
It was like gentlemen robots, and you're like a human, and they're
is this
basically
like a show or what?
No, it was a video game. Like,
okay.
It came out like a while ago.
Yeah.
But it was like you had to go around and do stuff, and then there was just random like roaming. These robots basically were just roaming around, and obviously if they saw you, then they chase you and attack you. So I think it'd be really fun at certain like definitely heavily wooded LARP sites.
Yeah.
To be trying to hard stealth your way around, and then to try and go and do stuff, but then it's like, or you could just try and punch through, just like be loud, go right in, try and punch through, and then try and disappear before the reinforcements arrive. I think that would be really fun. I think at Eldritch I got a big taste for nowhere is safe. Like, as in like something about lying in a bush in the dark for like 45 minutes was fun. It was actually really fun, and being like, what's going on out there? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think.
Meanwhile, us as crew were like, what the fuck? Where have they gone? Where are they? We need them to come back. We need them. Where are they?
Here's your encounter, everyone. Everyone else just opposite directions. They just scatter like chickens. Like,
yeah. It's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I believe it's your turn to ask a question.
Yes. This is an interesting one. I like this question, but it might have a bit of thought that would need to be put into it. What is a character that you think the other host should play?
Oh, what an excellent question. It's almost like I wrote it. I did have an answer to this as I wrote it for you, because I think I would really like to see you play a boss, a leader.
Oh, okay.
I would really like to see you play someone that was in charge, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you're very good at doing your own thing, and I think you're very good at taking orders if you need to in your own way. But I think you actually being in charge of something, I don't know what, but something that's high stress, I think would be really, really interesting to see. I think you'd smash it, but I'd be really interested to see sort of how you did it, like how you handle people.
Yeah, I think the closest I have to that is Kiri, but I mean, even then, she doesn't really do kind of like the more intense kind of like commanding.
Yes.
Not as much
from the Tales from the Tails LARP system, we should say.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Who is she's a very, what would you say, girly pop orc?
Yes, girly pop orc, girly pop barbarian kind of orc.
Again, a great character. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, like just take Kiri even further. I think would
Yeah.
be.
I think that would be very fun. Yeah. For you, I think it would be. I think it would be very cool to see you play a character that's like very different from who you are as a person, just to see how you tackle it, and like maybe even someone like kind of like Lavender with the Monsieur Lavender from Hoist the Colours.
Who was a very flouncy,
Yeah,
gay French lawyer.
yeah, even more kind of like push it even further with kind of like either more like, I don't know, feminine or just something that you haven't like that not, yeah, just like maybe just a little bit out of your comfort zone to just like really kind of channel someone. Maybe I want to see you play like a huge dickhead, like an actual evil person, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think someone it is in the back of my head to play is, I think I should play a femme character at some point. Because I see my friends do it and have a lot of find really good character doing it, but I very much want to play it in not a drag way, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that, and yeah, and the other, that scares me, and then in a different way scares me is playing a dickhead. Like, I've definitely played characters who were supposed to be more dickheads, but I just kind of wimped out, I think, because it's really hard. Because I don't want to be hated by anyone, normally I'm very chipper and, like, I just like being everyone's friend. So to be a dickhead is really hard for me.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think I should try. I don't know what the right LARP to explore that at will be.
I do completely get what you mean, because I think you have to have like a situation where like that you play that dickishness to people you really know, because then they know that, because like obviously like, Danica was supposed to be a huge cunt, but it's like really hard to play that to someone you don't know, because then their only impression of you is like you're a cunt, and it's like, well, I don't wanna be horrible to this person, but yeah, I think if you had like a good group of people that knew you very well, that you can understand, will know that you're not being a dickhead because you're a dickhead, but because it's a character, then like, yeah, I'd love to see you do that.
I think having a reason for it, so you can kind of draw from somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
But we kind of started to play into that because one of the people I was very antagonistic with at Lawless was someone I know very well.
Yeah.
And I love, we love each other very dearly. So being antagonistic with them is much easier. But even then I was like, I don't think I can say some of this stuff because it just feels too mean.
Yeah. Is this Circuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're besties at Empire.
Yeah, and they did such a good job.
Oh, they were so good. Oh.
But I was just like, I would say some stuff and I would be like, oh. And at several times we had just like a little hug. Like, just
same, yeah.
Like a little OC, like, out the back of town, just a little hug, just to be like, hey, I don't hate you. They're like, hey, I don't hate you either. Like,
Yeah. Check in with your friends, everyone.
That reinforcement. Yeah. And sometimes I've done it with my actual fiancée Daisy before, where we've been a little bit antagonistic towards each other at Hoist, in a bit more of a fun way. But afterwards, generally, I've gone and walked up to them, and then they've like everyone scowled at me as I've walked up because they're like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, and then I've put my hand up in the air, and then suddenly I'm like, "Oh, I've just come to like." Just get a little hug and a kiss, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then like suddenly everyone's faces like smile, because I'm like, "Oh, I'm not really here. I just need a little bit of reassurance."
Yeah, exactly.
But that's really cute.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe if we find the right LARP, maybe we should try and write each other's characters. That might be fun.
Ooh,
because I did like at Eldritch, we got given character sheets.
Yeah.
And that one made me play a coward, which I really liked, because normally I'm very at the front fighting, having a great time.
Yeah.
So playing a coward was really interesting, because I was like, because several times I wanted to charge in, and I wanted to be like, and I had to be like, oh no, I am very scared of gunfire. I should go and hide behind a tree.
Yeah,
And I had
yeah.
fun. So I think me and you, at the right LARP, I think us writing each other's characters would be really fun.
Yes, that would be really, really fun. I like that. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's in. We've pinned it in.
That's in. That's in.
Easy. That was a difficult question. Going to give you an easy one.
Uh-huh.
What is a LARP that you know exists and you would like to play, but you just haven't had the chance?
Oh, okay. Either the... Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But there is one in America that is... Oh no, both of these are Vampire the Masquerade. No. Okay, I'm just going to say the one that exists that I know in the UK, and it's Giovanni the Last Supper, because it sounds fucking sick. It sounds so cool.
Give me the elevator sales pitch.
Okay, so it's a human auction. You're either going to be a vampire or a human, and by the end of the it's like runs from like Wednesday to Sunday, and it's like by the end of that time you will have become a vampire and you will have joined one of the clans, and it's like a cool kind of Renaissance vampire kind of like big fancy supper kind of thing. Oh, it just sounds really cool and fun.
I love.
And I like dark themes.
Yes, I love that you were just like, it's like, Yana, what do you want to do? Like, maybe something you haven't done before, and you were like, Vampire the Masquerade. I was like, oh god.
I've only ever done one.
Okay, it's just
VTM.
like everyone just thinks you've done like loads of them.
Yeah, I have like a vibe about me, but it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
How about you then, huh?
Yeah. What about you, huh?
What about you, huh?
Not
Bitch.
VTM, because VTM is cringe.
All right.
Just lost like
Okay.
half the listener base.
Okay, Mr. Warhammer, and now we lost the other half.
Mr. Warhammer. Yeah. Hey, the Warhammer LARPs I've been to, great. Yeah. What is it? There's one that I don't know the name of, and I don't even know if it still runs. But it was like, I think it was like Danish or Swedish. And it was a Stargate LARP, and I'm not a big Stargate fan, but it was a Stargate LARP, but it was on board an actual battleship.
Oh.
And so the battleship was like the space station, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. The other one is Wome, which is Warriors of Middle-earth, which is a Lord of the Rings LARP in Scotland at a really cool place. I think it's where they filmed Highlander or Outlander. I can never remember which one. That I don't think is going to happen for me this year, just because of the distance.
Yeah.
But that's something I'm really interested in. And Drachenfest, heard really good things about Drachenfest in Germany.
Yeah, I've heard some really good things. Yeah.
Just in terms of like the size of it. So yeah, I think that would be ones that I really love to do. But just it's all logistics. It's all how much holiday I have from work and how much money I have.
Yeah.
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 I don't actually care about having to fly for a LARP. That's fine. It's just my work are just very selfish and just will not allow me to go and spend massive amounts of my time, being a silly little guy. How rude.
How dare they? They should have silly little guy leave.
They should have silly little guy leave.
Oh, a quick one. Just to add on to mine very quickly. I would love to go to a LARP in Thailand, because I think that'd be really cool. I don't actually know if they have any LARPs in Thailand, but it would be cool because, getting to do that kind of thing in my native language would be sick. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree. I think doing, for those of you who don't know, Yada is half Thai, full Thai.
Whoa!
I know. Cancel me now.
I'm full Thai. I was born in Thailand.
Okay. I was going to say Thai, and then at the last minute, I doubted myself.
You were a coward.
Where I made the mistake. I was a coward. I should have just committed.
You should have just committed.
Yes. I think doing a LARP in another country would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because having only done English ones or British ones, that's definitely like they have a certain way of running. I think even doing like an American one would probably be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the less like hitting each other with pipe foam ones.
Yeah.
What's it called? Weekend Warrior, I think, is like their big one in America that looks really good.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, anyway, too much LARP. Too much LARP.
Too much LARP.
Why did we start this podcast?
I guess we just wanted to, talk about our experiences and have somewhere to share our wisdom. No.
Wisdom. I
Wisdom.
mean,
Our brain worms to everyone, because I think it's nice to be able to kind of like have somewhere where we can kind of chat about the things that we've done together, and it's like it's both it's for to show other people what LARP is like from different perspectives, and also it's nice to be able to do a project with a friend.
that sounded like such like a corporate answer. Let's do projects with friends.
Okay, smart ass. What's your answer?
I mean, kind of the same reason, which is I just wanted a record of what we'd done at LARP and how we felt about it at the time.
Yeah.
And also getting to share with friends and some strangers how what LARP's about,
Yeah.
And also I think it's great for us because whilst we are very good friends and we do a lot of LARP at the same time, a lot of our time our actual games are very, very different.
Yeah.
So I think actually being able to sit down after an event and be like, what happened between 6 and 10 o'clock when we saw each other at 6 for dinner, but then I didn't see you again until 10. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Basically this is just the evolution of our post LARP, in the car back kind of talk.
Yeah.
That's what this is, just the natural evolution of. We've brought everyone else along for the ride.
Yeah. Welcome.
Speaking of everyone else,
we go to our questions sent in by you lovely lot, our listeners/viewers.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. We love you so much. Thank you.
We love you so much.
Thank you to everyone that submitted a question.
And thank you for listening as well, because it's been so the outpouring of support and love has been very, very appreciated, so thank you all.
Yeah, I'm hoping we say something awful in this episode that means that you all don't want to listen anymore.
They're like, ugh, no!
It's like, these guys... the sequel's always hard, Yada. You know this.
It's like, these guys actually suck.
Yeah, but it's alright, because if you're a good trilogy, you can bring it back up with the third offering.
Yeah.
Yada, why don't you kick us off with our first question?
Yes. From Charlie. What's your favourite type of character to play? Antagonist, hero, investigator, politics?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I definitely don't enjoy playing antagonists. I think my favourite characters to play are characters that have a bit. A little bit less serious characters. Characters that have a bit. Something that they can do. More than any of the other options. Because I don't really tend to chase the plot too much. And I don't want to say I don't like being the hero. I do like being the hero, but I definitely don't feel very heroic. So...
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
So I think, very loosely... I'll tell you what it is. It is, I enjoy playing characters that are 100% serious in character, but out of character, they're very silly characters.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
get
playing.
you.
So characters that are totally serious, but make people laugh.
Yeah!
That's my answer.
Oh.
Yada?
That's a good answer. I would have to agree with the whole antagonist thing, because it's it's really hard to play a type of antagonist that won't piss people off. You gotta really know who you're playing with to do it in a good way. But I do I've got the silly guy syndrome. I got the silly little guy syndrome of being a little silly guy that's light-hearted and cheery. I do enjoy playing the kind of underestimated, kind of underdog kind of.
Ooh, yeah.
I do really enjoy that, because then I can be silly and stuff like that. And then when it comes down to it, I'm like, oh, you thought I wasn't a threat? Okay. And then I smash their skulls in or something. I think heroes are fun to play, but it's hard to feel there's certain themes and stuff that aren't, there's certain games that don't... It's hard to feel like a hero in a world full of heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also there's definitely certain heroes that take all the glory for themselves. As opposed to... as opposed to kind of being it's this group of 5 people did this thing. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a more polite person, you just don't get a word in.
Exactly, yeah. And, you'll always encounter that kind of thing. But we live.
We live, we have fun.
We live, we have fun.
Yada, who was that question from?
Oh, from Charlie.
From my striding mate, your friend. I don't know how to.
My bestie.
Yeah, I was trying to think of an in character. Oh, your party member from the Green Party. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what connection we both had separately.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're a striding member. And
I was so proud of him at E4.
Yeah,
Getting
bless him.
inducted into Navarre and getting inducted into my silly striding in Navarre.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's a silly little goblin guy at Tails.
Silly little goblin.
Yippee!
What a great character. He plays such good characters.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't spend another hour singing Charlie's praises. So, from one excellent role player to another excellent crew member, Ellen has asked us the moment you felt the most and least badass.
That's a really tough question. I think feeling the least badass is I think the least badass is a bit easier to answer. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's not a bad moment at all, but just I guess both times at Flying Lead when Johnny has killed me.
Oh yeah.
And I would say being crowded and eaten alive and torn apart by zombies felt the least bad, whilst my friends left me behind, felt the least badass, but the most fun, And the most badass, I would say, is Kiri. Just generally playing Kiri.
Yeah.
Because she is a fucking tank. And she's a tank, she's very hard to, down because of... I fucking min-max her HP.
I was going to say min-max those XP
points.
Yeah.
And she packs a punch, as well as being a silly little guy. So, yeah. How about you, Oily?
Oh, wow. So I kind of immediately saw my answers to this, which was the least was at a Northern Kingdoms, which is a Witcher LARP. Very, very good LARP. In which I play a very fruity little bard who has a bow and arrow. And for some reason, there was 6 of us that went on this hostage rescue, right? And there was 6 baddies and the hostage, right? And they hadn't seen us yet. And I stepped out in front of everyone and went, watch this. Turned round, drew my bow, aimed my arrow, and everyone watched as it went sailing across the field, across the forest, straight into the hostage's head. And I just turned round and they were what the fuck did you do that for? And I was I wasn't aiming for the hostage moved. I wasn't aiming for the hostage. It just was I was wow. I was it could have gone anywhere. I'm an okay archer. That was a bit of a long shot for me. But it's just the fact that it found a target just out of 7 people. It was the worst one it could have hit.
The literal worst choice. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's so stupid.
And it's the fact that I announced myself before I did it, and I went, "Watch this," I was intending to do it. How the fuck did you do that, Songbird? I'm I'm not sure.
It's never gonna go well if you announce something first.
Yeah.
It's always gonna go fucking awfully wrong.
Yeah. And then everyone else was just as they all drew their swords and charged it, they were just don't shoot any more arrows.
Stand there. Just stand there.
Stand there. Don't do anything, you idiot. That was good. I have another one, which is I went on a very exciting little adventure to go inside a whale at Empire.
Oh yeah.
And I had been, and it was a very a lot of people wanted to go and do this. I pleaded my case to my friend who was organising it, and they said, and I did a good enough job convincing them that they said, okay, you can come. And I met up with 2 Dornish people who were also coming with us, and they didn't, what's coming. They'd never met me. They didn't know who I was. I didn't know who they were, but they were quite, big cheese in Dorne. And then my friend is there, and then we've got another one of her friends there as well. And, and this is I think we called ourselves like Whale Team 6 afterwards. Like, it was like elite team, and it's like, we don't know what we're going to find. We might have to fight our way back out, right? Awful. We don't know what's going on. And so they're like, it's like, you really got to be able to trust the people you're with. And as we're standing in the Hall of Worlds waiting, I turned to the Dornish character, and I noticed they had a backscabbard. I have to say, like, backscabbard? Backscabbard. Her backscabbard, really cool. And they were either taking their sword out or putting it in, and basically it closed with magnets. So that you could just grab it and rip it off your back and it would come off. And I was like, that's... And Oily OC was like, oh, that's really cool. And so I said to them, but then I realised I had to say it in like an in-character way that I went, oh, you've got a cool backscabbard. So I went, oh, I see your backscabbard uses some of those. And then my brain just cut out in that moment and it made something up and it went, Urazeni sticky rocks. And this Dornish person, just imagine the look of like... are we taking this idiot with us? Like, he just turns to me. They turn to me and they're just like, magnets exist, right? Like, I didn't know magnets existed in Empire. So it's like this like yokel Navari we're bringing with us that doesn't know what a magnet is. It just goes, whoa, it's witchcraft. These two stones that are sticking together. So that has now become
burn them at the stake.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So that's now become a well-known thing. So if you want to come up to me in the field and say, "Or is any sticky rocks?" I'll know what you're talking about. That was good. Most badass, I think. Lawless is when I felt most badass. Yeah. 2 moments from that. One was a classic stealth mission, and normally I don't do very well on stealth missions because everyone else gets in there ahead of me. By the time I'm there, like it's all over. Or, I just can't find a tree to hide behind that doesn't have someone there already. Or, a lot of the time, I'm just wearing entirely the wrong fucking costume for a stealth mission. But this time, it's like, everything aligned. The rest of the town had given up and gone home. And me and my band of chums were there, and I just felt like I was in Assassin's Creed, basically. I was, like, hiding behind a tree in the dark, and then I was, like... getting everyone else to lie down, and I'd be like, right, you go over there, and then we were surprised, as you often are in a video game, by an enemy walking round when you're not expecting them, and to everyone else, I just was in the middle of talking, I went, yes, I think Colt, August, you are going to go and grab that in a second, and then I just, like, stopped talking, I darted out from behind the tree, stabbed a policeman, dragged their body back, and then just like dumped it. And I went, right, that's one less problem to worry about. And I just kept talking. And everyone was just there, like enamored by like, oh my god, he's a bad.
God.
Yeah.
God,
then,
what a badass.
Yeah, and then it's just like went forward with one person, I think, stabbed more policemen, like without alerting them all. Grabbed the loot and just like came back to the tree, and like everyone was just watching me from behind the tree, being like, is he like soloing this mission? Which wasn't my intention, but like we did it, and I was like, yeah, that was cool. That was the best. That was the best like actiony badass moment I've had.
Yeah.
Because I've never managed to redo anything like that before. And then also just a lot of the stuff at Lawless about getting to feel like an actual badass, where I like actually sat down. I think having a small gang behind you is really great for your mental health.
For your mental health.
It was very fun. Like I think at one point I needed something off someone we knew, and so I just basically went and walked down an alleyway, and I went, right, you two, Henry, Remy, could you just go and grab this person for me and drag him back here? And then like 30 seconds later, they dragged this person back, and I was like, yeah, that was cool. Like getting to give it, and getting to threaten the police detective as well, whilst just sinisterly stirring my teacup was that was good. Like getting to actually have, because a lot of the time in LARP you'll make threats to people, but they're very hollow threats, because it's like
exactly.
When everyone's the same level, it's very hard to make threats against other people. But in that,
and to make them actually feel fear for it,
Yes, yeah. But I think, at Lawless, I really felt like I was like, I've got some power here. I can make demands of people, and they're like, oh, you should probably give him what he wants. Like,
yeah.
So very pleased. So those are that's a great question. Thank you, Ellen. Yada, what's the next question in the hat?
From Matty, we've got favourite style of game to play.
Ooh.
Interpret however you choose.
Favourite style of game to play? That's a hard one because, as you know, Yada, we play lots of different LARPs for different reasons. So, what's my favourite? What's my favourite type of game? Favourite style of game? I think the rules light kind of games are what I like playing. I think the less hard stats I have to keep track of, the better.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I feel much cooler and more badass when I can be a bit more freeform with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
I find that in the more numbers-based systems, I find they become a little bit min-maxy, where it's like not, I like doing big swings. I like diving around, shooting my revolver, like all that kind of good stuff, which I wouldn't do if I was trying to count hit points. Also, I mean, as you probably know, dear listener, having listened to these ramblings, but I'm quite ADHD, and sometimes I find it really hard to keep track of numbers, hit points, for example, when I'm playing. And so a lot of the time I might get down to like a few hit points and I'll be like, I feel like I should be down now, like, because I just can't. It's really hard when you're focusing on fighting people to to count your to count your hits, I find. So yes, rules light, because I find they're a little bit more freeform for doing stuff, which I like. But also my second favourite is probably just the events that I get to have a campfire, have a little camp, just hang out. Those, the ones that kind of more form like a weekend away with friends, occasionally interrupted by something.
Yeah.
Those also, I really come away from those being like, wow, I'm so lucky to know the people I know. Like you, Matty. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yada, what's your favourite style of game to play?
I really enjoy I really enjoy ones that are like quite roleplay heavy, of course, because I'm a nerd. I enjoy that, immersion. I do enjoy immersion, but I think like you can be immersed without like. I think it's hard to say. I'm trying to phrase it in a way that makes sense, but essentially it's like I think that for me, the setting doesn't necessarily need to be immersive, as long as like the characters and people are like super into the role playing kind of thing. So I really enjoy kind of like I enjoy combat, but I think being disabled and all it can be hard sometimes. But just being able to like role play and heavy role play and like stuff like that. Yeah, I really enjoy that kind of stuff, being able to have interpersonal connections with other characters and NPCs and stuff. I just really enjoy being a little dramatic little bitch. I also enjoy horror games. I enjoy getting jump scared a little bit.
That's what's great about LARP is that you can, maybe not in the same game, but across the hobby, you can if you just want to hit stuff all weekend, you can do that. Do you want to have a really aggressive argument with someone in the middle of town over some politics? You can do that. Do you want to do some medical RP? You can do that. Do you just want a nice time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful about it, is you really just find what you're looking for.
Okay. This one is from Tom. Do you know I'm living in your studio walls?
That rat bastard! I knew he was sneaking out and stealing my cheese.
I thought I told you to call the exterminator.
I did. They said they had nothing that could deal with him that big.
What? Oh, come on. Do I really have to deal with it all? Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, dude.
Please wait, listener. Hang on. Let's go see if we can flush Tom from LARPs and Tarps out of the walls.
Yeah. Go back to your tarps, bitch!
Go live in a tarp! We love you, Tom.
Take your LARPs with you!
Take your bloody LARPs and your tarps with you. Immersive Idiots does endorse the LARPs and Tarps podcast.
Yeah.
I hope we've earned our sponsorship money.
From LARPs and tarps?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have that much. I mean, they were using a broken microphone stand last time I checked, so actually they might have got a new one
Really?
now. Yeah,
Aw.
there was something about a shoe balancing it.
Shoot. Okay.
I mean,
Well-
also, dear listener, you may hear my sultry tones have become a lot more listenable.
Sultry.
Yeah, for this episode, thanks to the very kind Yada who had a spare recording quality mic sat around that they were
Yeah.
able to lend me. So hopefully from now on we should have good-ish audio quality.
Smooth.
Smooth late night radio.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
thank you, Tom.
you, Tom. Thank you.
Please, we will evict you
Yeah.
from the walls.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Maybe we could just-
You can
maybe
stay
we-
for now.
Maybe we could just fill it with expanding foam and just entomb him in it.
Oh. Ooh.
From one LARP rock star to another, Millie has been a little bit greedy here, but she is an absolute darling. So
We love you, Millie.
We love you, Millie. So I think she can get away with this.
Yeah.
I will read these out. Who does your awesome art? Yada. Who does?
Me!
Yes, our very
It's
own,
me.
our very own Yada, always known as Nocturne Naga.
Naga. Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yes. And Facebook when I finally decide to do that.
Does
And
all...
Tumblr. And
Does.
Blue Sky.
You want to plug all of your art channels?
Plug.
Yes, Yada very kindly draws our thumbnails, if you're watching on YouTube, the picture you're currently looking at. They also draw the wonderful Murdoch's calendar available on the Empire Field. And various other lovely... You've drawn me a couple of things as GIFs, which I absolutely adore. I love them. I need to get them printed out so I can put them up on the wall.
Teehee.
Yes, so I believe if you catch them at the right time, sometimes commissions are open.
Yeah, they're mostly open, to be honest with you.
Mostly open.
Like, for most of the time.
So
Hit me up.
please get in touch if you like what you're seeing on this audio-based podcast.
Close your eyes and imagine.
Yes. Yada, what's your favourite sandwich filling? Also from Millie.
I might get cancelled for this. I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm not a big... I do not like sandwiches.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation.
We had this conversation about doing sandwiches at afternoon tea at
Yeah,
Lawless.
Yeah, and I did the sandwiches because I was like, I'll do it. I'll be the most unbiased. And it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Everyone started yelling at each other.
Oh man, it was a great family lunch, basically.
I'll say... Huh?
I was going to say, are there any sandwiches that tickle your pickle?
I think I'll say... I do like a good toasty, I'll say.
Okay.
I'll say that. A good
think-
toasty with, like, ham or cheese, melty cheese.
Mhm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had not even thought about toasted sandwiches when I started answering this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
What is my favourite? Well, I mean, as you know, my favourite sandwich filling is a Millie sandwich. Nothing hits better after a LARP than a Millie sandwich.
That's true. That's true.
But you've got to come find out in play what a Millie sandwich is. I don't know if we can release the details.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like,
it's a little bit too intense.
You know, the Coca-Cola executives. There's like 3 of them that know the recipe for Coca-Cola, and they're the only ones.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to travel on the same plane at the same time, just in
What?
case. Yeah, just in case, like something happens to the plane, so they don't lose the Coca-Cola recipe.
That's insane.
yeah.
I've never heard of this before.
And I'm
Are you
like,
fucking with me?
No, I'm not fucking with you. And so yeah, there was a great book. I think it's called The Real Thing, which is like a teen adventure novel that I loved as a teenager, based around that. It is a real thing though. The novel's not true, but the thing is. But I wondered if that's now like, is this our version, which is now me and Millie can't go to the same LARPs just in case.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so a Millie sandwich is really good. A Millie sandwich is really good, very decadent sandwich, but delicious. Really,
Okay.
really rounds out your nutritional pyramid. Otherwise, I would say Coronation Chicken. Something about cold curry really does it for me. Apparently,
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, it was invented for the Queen's coronation in 1952, and it's
Huh.
really nice. It's just a very mild, creamy curry with sultanas and chicken in it.
Cold curry.
Yeah, it's like cold curry sauce. Really good. Really
I
nice.
I will hold back my Asian judgment.
Yeah. It does feel a little sacrilegious, but it is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just sitting there nodding like,
Coronation chicken.
Otherwise, I think
Whatever you say, darling.
yeah, as a snack, I think you can't beat like a sausage or a bacon butty. And like a lot of the time, if I get back from work and I want a snack before dinner, I've become a traitor to the colonies, which is I quite enjoy a PB and J. Bit of peanut butter, sprinkle a little bit of salt. Sprinkle a little bit of salt.
I was trying to figure out how that was treacherous to the colony, but...
Well, sorry, no, to ours. Yeah.
God.
But yeah, what you want to do is 2 pieces of toast, peanut butter on one side, sprinkle a little bit of flaky salt on there, and then a jam of your choice. The weirder the better on the other side. That toasted, really good. I've kind of become a bit of a convert for those. So, yeah, I'd say that was my favourite sandwiches.
I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. Just feels like you're gonna choke on it.
That's alright, you child.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, you'll definitely choke on it if you have a nut allergy, so...
Yeah. Maybe don't eat peanut butter if you have a nut allergy.
If we made a sandwich yadder, if you thought of a food to go in a sandwich that represented you, and you can be on one side, and then I'll think of a food that represents me, and I'll be on the other side.
Okay.
Right. But you got just first thing off your head, right? What have you got?
Okay.
What's the Immersive Idiots sandwich?
Cheese.
Cheese? Okay, interesting. Yeah. I think the first thing that came to mind was mayo. So, cheese and mayo sandwich. Which isn't like...
We've done that before.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing.
I came to yours.
Have we done that?
Literally when in December, when we went over and you were like, does anyone want a little toasty cheese? And I was like, I'm gonna put mayo on it, and then you tried it and you were like, that's actually really good.
Whoa, okay, so we already did the sandwich before we knew.
Oh my
Crazy.
God.
There you go. Everyone, make your own Immersive Idiots sandwich. Take a picture of it, tag us.
Insane. What have we devolved into?
Man, it's been a long recording session. I've already been through 7 Immersive Idiot sandwiches.
That's a lot of immersion.
There's a lot of idiots. There's a lot of immersion.
Yeah.
But as all good things should, we near the end. The final question from Millie. Knowing what, it's a killer, right? Knowing what you know now, if you had a chance to do another event over, which event would you do? It's a toughie, isn't it?
Yeah, but I do have I do have an answer for it.
Okay.
My first flying lead nightmare.
Oh, that's a great shout.
I was too shy. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really get involved that much. I just kind of like, if maybe I would have tried to become a vampire. Wow, surprise!
Well, yeah, you were like, oh, I didn't realise that joining the vampires was a choice.
Yeah.
It's always a choice.
What about you?
I'm very much a proponent of, I love the way everything has gone. As in, all the ups, this is too philosophical, but all the ups and downs that happened, right? Every event I've been to, everything I've done at that event has led me to make the friends I currently have, which I'm so grateful for, right? So, I don't think I would do an event over.
That's not the question, though,
but
is it?
It's not the question.
Huh?
You're absolutely right. The question is, which one would you do? And I might say, maybe the first Northern Kingdoms. Because I think I was a little bit, like you're saying, with Flying Lead, I think I was a little bit unsure on my feet.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Like, I definitely got there with the second event, but I could have really hit the ground running if I was as confident as I am now. So I think the first Northern Kingdoms would be my answer.
Yeah.
That was
such as many cases.
such many cases, but I've had such a lovely time getting to answer all these wonderful questions from our lovely listeners. Thank you.
Yes.
If you got this far, for watching and listening, whatever you were doing, folding laundry, driving, making a cake. I don't know, but yes, thank you so much. It means so much to us that you listened. And
we love you.
We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Lots of kisses for you, listeners. Thank you, Yada, for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you, Oily, for sitting down and talking to me.
I really love bouncing off you with our LARP chats.
It's nice. It's fun to have a little chat about this kind of stuff.
But yes, so whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, have fun. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Yada, do we have anything else we need to say?
No.
No. Oh, we're on Spotify now. Hurrah!
Yeah, we're on Spotify now. And if you're listening on Spotify, we were always on YouTube.
We're still on YouTube.
We're still on YouTube.
If you're listening on Spotify, you might miss out on a piece of Yada's lovely artwork that adorns the YouTube, but we do aim to post those on Facebook as well, where you should also follow us. So
exactly.
It is goodbye from me and
goodbye from me.
Goodbye. Have fun,
Bye.
everyone. Bye. See you on a field soon.
Hopefully. I'm behind you right now.
I am in your walls. I've got Tom's back.
Tom, no!